What's up everybody, Wix here again, episode 13, fuel line setup, let's go. Hey, what's up everybody, Wix here again. Thanks for tuning back in. Today's episode we will be talking about hooking up the fuel lines and most of all sorting out the injectors in these fuel rails. I was having a bit of a test before I did this video and stuff isn't working out, but so I thought I'd turn the camera on and kind of show you what's going on. Purely for if someone else is thinking of getting a similar setup, maybe with the same gear or something similar, just some stuff to watch out for. So I've got the Radium top flow fuel rails. They came with some bolts and some spacers there in the box they send you. It comes with two sets of spacers, a shorter one and a long one. I've got the injectors that I've got are the Injector Dynamics 1700x, I think they call them, and at the moment I've got the 11mm tops on them because that's what these rails can handle. But when I set it in there, you can kind of see that bolt is way too short, which means so are the spacers, even the longer spacer. So that's not going to work. Another thing that I've noticed is that the bottom of the injector is quite, in this particular TGV delete, which is the Process West TGV delete to match the intake, just bought them at the same time. That injector plug gets quite close to the lip. It is okay when you push it down in hard, but yeah, so I've got a few issues going on here. I need a longer bolt, I need a longer spacer, and so I can bolt this puppy up. Now a little trick, I hope it's a trick. So those of you who are from Tauranga or know these guys down here, I'm getting my car tuned from D-Tech Automotive, I think they're called, over in Tauriko, or the lakes here in Tauranga. And what I was finding was these injectors weren't fitting into these TGV deletes. So I took it down to Tony, who I've been talking to down there, and what he's given me is a little O-ring. Let's see if I can tip that out. Oh, actually I've got one in the box here. He's given me a little O-ring that just sits in the TGV there, TGV delete injector hole. And at the moment it seals up pretty good once you squash it down. But these injectors come with a little, you can see a little groove there. These injectors come with a little plastic piece around them. With that plastic piece on, it won't sit in that sort of O-ring. So what Tony did was he snapped them off, and I'm really nervous. I was really nervous about it because these injectors aren't cheap. So basically, if he broke them, he bought them, kind of thing, is what I warned them. But he did do a good job of breaking this little plastic ring that was on it, and now because of that, now that injector will sit right in that hole and just seal up really good. So I've been told, but I can't even get to that point of bolting it up because, like I said, these bolts that came, they're just a bit too short. So what I've been doing for the last hour is running around, and it's hard before Christmas as well. So I've been to the bolt shop. I gave them a measurement, but they only had the longer bolts, so I've had to mark them and I've had to cut them on my own. So this is a cut one, and now that fits in perfect. And I had to measure the spacer, and yeah, being again, I just want it bolted up. What I ended up doing was, so that's both spacers from Radium. I ended up measuring the distance, which is 30 mils, so that outside edge is 30 mils. And I ended up cutting one off, and I've just glued them together for now. So hopefully that'll just create the right length spacer. If it does work out after Christmas, when everyone comes back, I might get someone to make maybe an aluminium spacer, but at least I can give them this and then say I need this made in alley. So that's what we'll do now, is we'll test it all out, test my bolt that I cut, yeah, get it all bolted up and see if it's all sweet as. So let's go ahead and do that. So the other thing I'll show you is, that's how I bought the injector. But these purple tops for these particular brand, Injector Dynamics, these purple tops for the Subaru ones, has the 14mm O-ring on it, and I needed the 11s, which is those. So I thought I had to swap the injector, but the supplier sent me these and told me I just need to swap them over. So it's really simple how you swap them over. Take this clip off, pull that off carefully, so that's your typical Bosch style injector, I guess. I've got no idea what Injector Dynamics do to these to make them almost triple the price, but anyway, grab your the next cap, slip it on just like that, and you put the clip back in. So the clip has some little teeth there,
what we do here is go back,
and on the injector, see if you can see that. There's a couple of slits in there anyway. If you ever get some, you'll see them. And the teeth just slide in there. That's not it. And around these caps too, there's a groove in there as well, which is where the top of the ring sits, but it just clips in, and that's your injector ready to go. Okay, so there you have it. That's the other side done, and I'm quietly confident I'm new to all this sort of gear, so I don't really know how it goes, but I'm pretty confident that that's all the injectors now in the rails and bolted up. Those wooden spaces are bloody hideous and they shouldn't send those out, but like I said, I'll just wanted to use them for now, and then I'll try and get something, if I can be bothered, something a bit prettier made up. But cool, so that's that done. What we'll do now is we'll chuck this on the block, set it in place, and then we'll try and start mapping out a route for all the fuel lines to the regulator and back to the hoses that come into the engine bay. Alright, let's go. Hey, what's up everybody? I have managed to lose some footage. So what I'm going to do is, my engine is still on the engine stand. I'm just going to quickly show you how I've ended up finishing off routing or running my fuel lines on the engine. So let's take a look. So if you remember in one of the other episodes, this is where I decided to mount my fuel rig. It's one of the Radium multi-port ones, and I kind of wanted to make it a bit of a feature because I think they look freaking awesome. And since I'm not running my the normal standard power steering pump, I thought I'd stick that puppy right there. But what I'll do is I'll start from the back. So remembering that I'm going to use the factory steel lines for the feed and return. So what we'll do is we'll come off this feed, and that'll go into this little T here. So it's an ANT, and I've just glued it to this steel bracket that I've got, and it's kind of worked out pretty awesome. So it'll feed in here. So this is a split rail system, so it'll split each way, and each line will go into the front of the rail. So it comes under the injectors, up through these couple of 90s here, in through the front, down to the injectors, and whatever's left over will come out the back here. And that line is this fitting here in the back of the regulator. Obviously that fitting there is the return from that rail, so I'll just go over that quickly. Same sort of setup. Feed comes down underneath, up through these 90s here and into the front, through the rail, out the back, under the bracket there, and yeah, that's that line there. Then underneath those two lines is a third line. Can you see that? That one there that I'm tapping, and that is the return from the rig, which is this line here, and that'll go back into the return of the factory steel lines in the corner of the engine bay. And that's pretty much my fuel system. So pretty simple, pretty expensive when you're switching to AN stuff, but I really like AN stuff. It means you can put the lines exactly where you want them, where you want them, and I think they look awesome as well. But yeah, they're pretty expensive. You'll notice that I've still got these wooden spaces that are kind of made up. I'm still using those, but this one's missing because I'm going to use it as a template to get a aluminium sleeve or template, or collar made up spacer. So yeah, that's the plan with that. But yeah, that's pretty much my fuel lines all completed, ready to go on the engine side. So in another episode, I'll be talking about the surge tank setup that we'll set up in the boot. Wasn't going to run one, but I am now. So yeah, I've got some cool gear to go in that as well. Next episode is finally painting the engine bay, so that now when I put this stuff back in, hopefully I don't have to pull it out ever again. So that's the next episode, engine bay prep and paint. If you're keen to stay updated, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that every time I release a video you'll get notified. And other than that, we shall see you in the next episode. Peace.